The House Oversight Committee chamber was packed as Congressman Jim Jordan took his seat, his usual energy buzzing through the air. He was prepared for a fiery exchange with Representative Jasmine Crockett, a rising voice on the Democratic bench known for her unfiltered takedowns and sharp legal mind. Jordan came in with stacks of papers, ready to grill Crockett on her recent statements regarding committee integrity and oversight bias. Cameras rolled, tensions brewed, and everyone in the room could feel that something significant was about to unfold. What they didn't expect was just how lopsided the verbal exchange would become. Jordan began with his signature rapid-fire style, accusing Crockett of disrespecting committee protocol and undermining bipartisan cooperation. "You seem more interested in headlines than truth," he barked, pointing a finger toward her. The room grew tense as Crockett calmly adjusted her microphone, folded her notes, and looked him squarely in the eye. "Congressman," she said, "if you're done performing, I'd love to respond with some actual facts." Her tone was calm, controlled, but the underlying heat in her voice was unmistakable. The crowd leaned forward. Her counterattack was about to begin. Crockett proceeded to dismantle Jordan's argument piece by piece, starting with his misuse of committee time and cherry-picked quotes. She read full transcripts from hearings he had referenced, exposing selective editing and out-of-context interpretations. "If you want to discuss truth, let's tell the full one," she said, flipping through highlighted documents. Her preparation was meticulous. Every point he raised was met with a sharper, more grounded rebuttal. Jordan tried to interrupt, but she held firm. "Let me finish," she said. "You spoke uninterrupted. Now it's my turn to correct the record." With the room's attention glued to her, Crockett expanded beyond rebuttals and went into systemic issues. She highlighted how committee hearings were increasingly used for partisan attacks rather than real oversight. She connected Jordan's tactics to a larger strategy of distraction, shifting focus from legislation to sensationalism. "Accountability doesn't come from yelling," she stated. "It comes from results. And last I checked, grandstanding isn't legislation." Even Republicans in the room exchanged glances, surprised at how composed and effective her takedown was. The narrative was shifting quickly, and Jordan could feel it. Then she dropped the moment that would go viral. Holding up a printed tweet from Jordan, Crockett quoted his own words, criticizing government overreach, only to contrast it with his defense of intrusive policies when politically convenient. "So which is it, Congressman? Is big government bad, or is it your best friend when it fits your agenda?" The chamber fell silent for a moment before murmurs began. Jordan tried to regain the floor, but stumbled over his rebuttal. The image of him holding his breath, lips slightly parted, unsure of his next line, spread across social media within minutes. Rather than press further with insults or mockery, Crockett pivoted again. She spoke about the constituents who had reached out to her office, veterans, single mothers, teachers, who were tired of the circus and hungry for solutions. "They don't send us here for sound bites," she said. "They send us here to serve." Her ability to take the moment and turn it into a broader message of purpose and public service elevated the tone of the hearing. Even some of her most vocal critics had to admit this wasn't just about politics, it was leadership on full display. Jordan finally responded, but his voice lacked the earlier edge. "This isn't about showmanship," he insisted, but the damage was done. The energy had shifted. Crockett's combination of logic, poise, and precision had left him scrambling. What was meant to be an ambush had become a lesson, and not the kind Jordan had planned. Journalists flooded Twitter with quotes from Crockett's statements. Pundits called it one of the most one-sided exchanges in recent committee memory. The hashtag #Crockett clapback began trending before the hearing had even ended. After the session adjourned, Crockett didn't linger. She gathered her notes, nodded to a few colleagues, and walked out. Cameras followed. Reporters shouted questions, but she declined comment. Her office later released a statement simply saying, Congresswoman Crockett came prepared to work and to tell the truth. Meanwhile, Jordan avoided the press entirely. Back in his office, aides scrambled to draft a response, but even within his own party, there was hesitation to double down. She outmaneuvered him, one anonymous Republican staffer admitted. It wasn't even close. The exchange became a turning point. In the weeks following, Crockett's national profile rose significantly. She was invited to speak at legal forums, town halls, and university panels. Her performance was dissected in law school classrooms as an example of tactical restraint and rhetorical excellence. What was meant to be a political takedown had only fortified her credibility. As for Jordan, questions began swirling about whether his confrontational style was losing its effectiveness against more disciplined opponents like Crockett. The landscape in Congress was changing, and she was helping shape that shift. In the end, the moment wasn't about a single hearing. It was about what it represented. Jasmine Crockett showed that clarity, facts, and confidence could stand taller than noise and theatrics. Jim Jordan came ready for a fight, but left visibly shaken, not by insults, but by an opponent who refused to play his game and still won. Her words echoed far beyond the chamber walls, and for many watching across the country, it wasn't just Crockett's victory. It was a masterclass in how to handle pressure, defend truth, and lead with intelligence and strength.